This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 973 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today, Hillary Moore Hebert, senior editor of Dressage Today magazine and DressageToday.com, joins Dressage Radio Show co-hosts Reese Kofler-Stanfield and Philip Parks to chat about warm-up routines for warm weather. And we'll get right to our tip after this message from Kentucky Performance Products.
This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products. Managing horses can be challenging. Each horse's personality affects the way he behaves and reacts to the world around him. Horses with certain dispositions can be at higher risk for developing health problems than others. High-strung or excitable horses are easily stressed, but so is the timid, quiet warrior. Stressed horses are more likely to develop digestive upsets that lead to colic, diarrhea, and ulcers. Nalox Advanced was specifically developed to support a digestive tract that is under stress. It sustains proper pH levels, reducing the incidence of ulcers and hindgut imbalances, while simultaneously supporting the healing of damaged tissues. Nalox Advanced supports the complete digestion of starches and sugars and sustains populations of beneficial bacteria. Make life a little easier on your sensitive horse and start him on Nalox Advanced today. To learn more about the ingredients in Nalox Advanced, visit Kentucky Performance Products at kppusa.com.
Hillary, welcome back.
Hi, guys.
We love having you on. We love just talking with you, and then we're like, oh, wait, we've got to actually do this segment.
We got to record some of this
we've got to
conversation,
record the conversation. So we love having you on, Philip, and I always look forward to it. So I think we're ready. Let's jump right in. What's our first tip from Dressage Today this month?
Okay, so the theme of this whole month is not doing so much, which I kind of like because it's 1,000 degrees here in Maryland, and I'm feeling very relaxed. I just would like to do as little as possible with the most results. I think as overachieving dressage riders, that's always nice to do every once in a while. So the first tip, and this is from the great master, Kira Kirkland. So we know that it's not just us being lazy. She talks about overriding your horse and how to avoid it. And her tip is to use your aids only when you feel the horse is beginning to disrespect them. Compare this to a kick sled or, a skateboard for those of us who are not in snowy countries right now. So that when you think about you get the desired speed that you need, you stop pushing and you only push again when it starts to slow down. I thought that was just a really simple, neat tip because we all have a tendency to kind of bicycle along. As Nicholas Fife in an upcoming trainer article said, we shouldn't ride our horses like bicycles that have to pedal all the time. You need to have the capacity to just sit there and enjoy the ride for a little bit.
Yeah,
this
is awesome. Yeah, I mean, the more ways you can say this, the more clear it becomes to people, and I think this is one of the foundations to what we do, and every time you get to reiterate this point, I think it's awesome. I'm always saying this, and it's always got to be in the back of our minds so that we don't have to work so hard. I mean, I try and tell people if you get to ride one horse a day, but if you had to ride 10 of them, how would you get it done? You would never have enough energy if you're helping the horse all the time. So I love it.
Mm-hmm. Touche. I don't have anything else to add. It's so true. I'm a huge proponent for it. And obviously, because, you ride 10 horses a day, you're tired. They can do some work too. I always tell my students, I'm like, you work, 8 hours a day for his 1 hour, maybe. So it's like he can work pretty hard for 1 hour. It won't kill anybody. So that's my take on it too. So love it.
And the aesthetic is so much better and so much pleasing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Not even that you want to work less, but we're always looking to make it look pretty, right? So, yeah, this I think that's again a fundamental point.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of keeping things simple and kind of going back to basics, in my Dressage 101 section, again, making things easy. And this is how I approach the warm-up. I make things easy. And I have a lot of students who say, okay, I don't know what to do for my warm-up, and this is for anyone at any level. I recommend to them that they memorize the USDF Introductory Level Test C, because it challenges you to practice and improve your foundation movements, like the center line, which every single one of us should be capable of doing. Transitions, again, something we all need to do. And circles to start to warm your horse up in a way that's, just really helpful but not too complicated. So knowing this test by heart is a great go-to warm-up for you to have at home or at shows, when you need just a simple structured plan to test that your horse is responsive and ready in all three gaits.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about warm-up plans before, and when you put it down to a test like that, that's a great plan. No matter what level the horse is, you always have to start somewhere. And so if you have a bit of a plan, a pattern to do that, that's awesome. I just want to add one thing is that your pattern has to have some purpose. You don't want to be just kind of wandering around it. You got to say, okay, this is a transition. It serves a purpose. My horse has to be kind of sharp off my aids. Whatever, your horse's issues are, maybe it needs to be a little bit more supple and bending. Use that pattern for a purpose to be bending on circles, straight on the center line, stuff like that. Not just wandering around. I see a little bit too much, the rider riding from point to point to point in the warm-up, but not really getting stuff done. So that would be my little comment on that. Reese, anything to add here?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And honestly, I'm going to go for even when you warm up at home. We in an earlier episode, Gina Smith talked about the warm-up pattern, and it's a very similar idea, Hillary. I mean, same idea. Everybody, you can go back on the website and look it up. It's Gina Smith's warm-up plan. Very similar idea. Yours actually adds in center lines, which I think is a really great thing to also remember. We forget those center line scores add up quickly. There's 2 in every test, minimally.
There's two of them in every test.
And even in first level, really every level you're going to be doing stuff around the center line. So it's super to practice. But I even think, I find myself even in warm up, I start thinking about a phone call I was on or whatever, and I start wandering. And so I have gone to the warm-up pattern as almost every horse does it, because very similar idea at home as well, because when I didn't do it, I was finding myself wandering around kind of doing whatever and taking 10 or 15 minutes to sort of get to the nitty-gritty. And I have taught a ton of students this idea, and it is great. I cannot, and you can make it your own too. This is even better because it's a test. You memorize it. And we all know when we're busy at shows and nervous, it's just great to have something memorized that you can do. So
yeah, you fall back into the groove. Yeah. And the horse appreciates it as well, it as well, because, they're also stressy at the show, but you get them into the groove of that warm-up pattern that you've practiced every day. And they're like, oh yeah, I know this. And then you just kind of get it done. And like I said, you get into the groove, and then you can move on to whatever specific things maybe you want to warm up for your horse and your show and your level. But you got to have something to fall back on when it's all going it's all going screwy.
It's not going, it's not, everything feels weird.
Well, you have to have a plan for it to go to plan, right? So
I love it.
Well, there you go. If you enjoyed Reese and Phillip chatting about all things dressage, you can tune in every week at dressageradio.com. You can find lots more tips on topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. And now you can have every single one of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go with the free app for your iPhone and Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. Download it today. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. This podcast has been brought to you through the generous support of Kentucky Performance Products and listeners like you. Find out how you can support the programs on Horse Radio Network by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner in the center of the page. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.